Welcome back, Sunrisers. It's 16 and a half minutes after 6 o'clock on this Thursday morning. It is 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 22 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. But the studio just got a few degrees hotter since this lady walked in with her red shoes. It's your morning worker of science. It's Obia K. Dawkins. Good morning.
What?
Me said last week, me laugh after about our back. Me said this.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
This week, me barely a gone.
I love it. I love that
like,
for me.
I was like, TK?
No, I love that.
No, I understand.
When you see you walking in, make up with this body, me say, me no send
Yeah,
nothing. Me
man.
just say,
You remember a couple of days after Miss Kitty neck did crick too? They said,
I
don't
was
laugh
waiting
at me.
for it.
Don't laugh at me.
I did a
don't.
heavy back day on Tuesday, and I was fine. I was like, I beat it.
Is what you thought.
And then yesterday, I did legs, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to squat light. And I put on those 2 plates, and then I finished the first set, and I was like,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
curses!
Yeah, man.
And I would have gotten away with it
Yeah, man.
if it wasn't for those pesky kids and their dog.
Yes, man. What I'm saying, Guzum. All right, that works for me. All right, so great morning. Let's jump into the headlines. First up, government moves to establish pension scheme for farmers.
This is good.
I'm really excited about this. So the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining under Minister Floyd Green is setting up a pension scheme for farmers, aiming to give them retirement security. Now, to get things started, the ministry is pushing for a $1 billion fund. The minister made the announcement during his 2025-2026 sectoral debate presentation in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, May 27. Furthermore, GK Weather Protect Insurance paid out over $1.4 million to almost 400 farmers in 2024, assisting them in recovering from weather-related losses. An extra $7.5 million is being allocated by the ministry to increase insurance coverage to about 5,000 farmers in disaster-prone areas and across agro-parks, as announced by Minister Green. This initiative supports farmers and fishers dealing with extreme weather events, especially in the rural areas where farming is mainly the source of income.
I think, okay, 2 separate issues, but 2 very important issues, because so many people, and I'm encouraged by this because there have now been a few instances where we've seen changes. There are so many people, by virtue of how they earn, they've been unable to secure for themselves a pension, and not just something that they're being given, but something that they can contribute to because of how they earn their money. And farmers, of course, has been one of them. And so now when you're seeing a scheme being created now that farmers can contribute to, so that when they decide to hang up their trowels or their water boots or whatever you want, they would say in the farming world, when they decide to retire, they at least have something to get because they have contributed so much to the economy. You know, it's a lifeblood of the economy. Agriculture is still, we're a less agrarian society, but nonetheless, we still rely heavily on agriculture. So I'm encouraged that a scheme is being created to facilitate how these people earn so that they can have something in retirement. The other side of the story is the side about insurance, because we're seeing now where more and more farmers are being able to secure their livelihood from the potential losses, from just the vicissitudes of life. And the reality is that it's hard for putting in the work for months, and before you can get to reap it, either somebody reap it for you, or the climate, you know. And as we become more prone to, you know, climate extremities, weather extremities, it is important that they have this option. So I'm very, very encouraged by this development. And it shows that our society is modernizing and transforming to a place where this is now the order of the day.
As it ought to be. I often say we are nothing without our farmers. We don't consume food without our farmers. And so it ought to be that farming is not looked upon as them is a farmer, but this is a farmer, and it is held in the highest regard, as is doctors, lawyers, name it. You know, the professions of
the traditional status professions.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
I think farming needs to be right there with them, if not above them, because we literally don't survive without our farmers. So moves like these, to me, continue to, it bolsters the industry, but it also encourages others to enter the industry, because it then says, okay, here is a long-term plan for my life, for my future. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And not just that, but it then augurs well for the potential improvement of the industry.
Correct.
Because now, there are, don't be fooled, there are many people who, they don't look down on farming. They just say, I saw my father struggle, work too hard and not have anything in retirement. Or
exactly.
I saw my father or my uncle or people who I grew up with in the farming community, one storm come and liquid all of them investments, right?
Yeah.
Or they would have sought insurance, and there were no specified insurance schemes for farmers, so they would have sought insurance, and a financial institution is going to tell them it's too expensive. You're not covered for that. And so now, when you have these things, persons can say, I don't want to become an attorney. I want to become a farmer.
Yeah.
And I want to do this, and I want to go big in pepper, or I want to go big in chickens or whatever, because me can have a retirement plan, me can have insurance in case anything happens, and then it will have a positive multiplier effect of doing this now will cause it better people to come, and then you have economic growth through modernization of agriculture.
Which means that we can become less dependent on imports.
Exactly.
Because we can feed ourselves.
Which is so important.
To some degree.
Yeah.
Some things just don't exist in our waters, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so next up, WHO tracks new COVID-19 variant.
Dum, dum, dum.
The World Health Organization, WHO, is monitoring a new COVID-19 variant, NB181, which may be contributing to an increase in global cases, particularly in the Eastern Mediterranean, Southeast Asia, and the Western Pacific. The new NB181 variant has been detected in U.S. travelers from these areas. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stated that COVID-19 shots are no longer recommended for healthy children and pregnant women. By mid-May, the NB181 variant comprised nearly 11% of sequenced samples. The WHO considers the global public health risk low, with current vaccines expected to be effective. The LP81 variant is currently the dominant strain globally.
You know what's interesting about this is I heard someone only this week say, you know, say COVID had come back. Let's just be very clear. COVID has gone nowhere. What is happening is we are getting on with it. So there are less people who are testing. There are less people who are... the scare of what it was is what is no longer there. But COVID is very much here. It has very much not gone a single place. Someone I know recently tested because of what symptoms they're experiencing and came back positive, and I too was alarmed when they said, oh, I'm not going to so-and-so because I have COVID. I was like, wait, what? Because I didn't even realize that some doctors are actually still testing people based on what they were presenting. This is just to say, you see the measures that we had in place, they were excellent measures in terms of hand washing, social distancing, the protocols around how we manage germs were very useful and should not be let go. Please come off of people, net back into the line when you are into the bank. Please ease up off of people behind when you are in the supermarket to cash out. Space, wash hands. Do not sneeze into your hands. Do not cough into your hands. Elbows. If you are feeling unwell, you can and should wear a mask or refrain from going in public spaces. These are protocols.
Keep the hand sanitizer in your car.
In the car.
And when you go in your car, sanitize regularly.
The COVID is going nowhere. We have to adjust in how we operate.
And we become more resilient.
But we must maintain the things that we did that were working, that are useful for all germs across the board. Stop hitching up people neck back. And wash your hands.
This has been a public service announcement by Yendi.
No, but seriously.
No, I agree.
True, true, true.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's one of the things I say, the same thing you did do for get her, and the same things you need to do to keep her. You see, the same things we did when it was upon us, it's the same things we need to do to just ensure that it's, at least is mitigated. So, next up, Tourism Ministry upgrading 10 public beaches. The Ministry of Tourism has announced that 10 public beaches across Jamaica will be upgraded to offer cleaner, safer, and more family-friendly environments. State Minister in the Ministry of Tourism, Senator Delano Seabright, noted that the improvements are focused on giving Jamaicans better spaces to relax and enjoy. Beaches set for upgrades include Watson Taylor Park in Hanover, Success Beach in St. James, Priory Beach in St. Anne, Rio Nuevo, St. Mary, Murdoch Beach, St. Mary, Winifred Beach, Portland, and Rocky Point in St. Thomas, Gov't River, Manchester, Crane Road, St. Elizabeth, and Alligator Pond, St. Elizabeth.
I heard, I was driving and I heard, it wasn't a live, it was a rebroadcast, I guess, because in the day, but I heard Matthew Samuda speaking in Parliament during sectoral about beach access.
Yeah.
And it's something that people have said. I've seen people protesting in past years about access to beaches. We live on the island and people are saying we don't have enough access to beaches, or people in parishes have to drive too far to get access to beaches, etc., etc. And of course, as the hotel sector develops and people want beachfront properties, people, are complaining about getting access to beaches and comparing us to other islands that have different policy approaches or different legislative approaches as where beach access is concerned. But what I would say in relation to this, yes, I want more public beaches so that more of us who live on this island can get access and go to a beach. But what I don't want is for people to think that that comes at no cost.
Right.
Because people want to go to the beach and don't pay, and they want nice facilities to change, and they want the beach to be clean, and they want all the wonderful trappings that come with going to a nice beach, but you don't think who's going to pay for it? And we have to think about these things. I grew up in Spanish Town, and for us, when we go to, the idea of going to the beach on a public holiday was Hellshire. And if you look at old pictures of Hellshire, Hellshire was massive. And you
could race to see who would reach the shore.
The water first. Yeah,
and now when you get to Hellshire, but
no beach. No beach.
As you come through the fishing people, whoa.
No beach.
No beach. And I never thought, if somebody told me within your lifetime, you would see that. But if you go across to Fort Clarence, there's beach. What's the difference?
There's a cover charge to enter.
Yeah? Somebody needs to take care of the stuff.
Yeah.
And, that's just it. And then when you have other people, privatize a thing and create a proper structure and have various lunch and tell it you can't bring in this and you can't bring. There's a reason, because these things come at a cost. If you like nice things, you got to be prepared to pay for them, including a beach.
But also a big part of it too is the culture around what happens when you use these facilities. So it's one thing that we're asking for access to the beaches. We should have access to the beaches. Yes, we should, absolutely. But it's another thing that you access the beaches and leave your entire buckets of waste from when you're eating your chicken, leave your plastic bottles, litter the place. We must treat our spaces with regard and respect. And so if the place is littered in that type of way, it's additional work for someone to come in and clean. If there are bathroom facilities put in place and you don't use the bathroom facilities in the way they ought to be used, to clean up, to flush, to wipe after yourself, then you're leaving the place in a state of disarray and someone else has to come in and clean it. And the place is going to get run down, it's going to be destroyed. So we can't, it's one thing to demand access to public beaches. That's great, that's all right. But it is also our responsibility to take care of the beaches when
so
they're
what do you
upgraded.
do? You go to the public beach and there's nowhere to change. So, okay.
Because the beach don't come with a place to change, that's put in.
Yeah.
Right?
No bathroom, no.
But
somebody has to build it, somebody has to take care of it.
And when it's put in, you don't take care of it. We must do better. We must do better.
Sometimes it's too nasty. Somebody has to say it. They're too nasty. We need to take care of the place. Let's do better. and let's enjoy
Yes.
the resources that we have
Yeah.
then. All right, that's it for the headlines. We head to the break, and then it's over to Money Masterclass, which is brought to you by JN Bank.
Yeah, right?